Everyone, please have a seat for this evening's talk. Please sit comfortably, facing towards the altar where our teacher will be. Please sit so that you can make eye contact with the teacher. In a moment, we will also be doing a chant found on page 8 of the liturgy books. I think they're going to be passed out right now. Again, we're going to be doing a chant on page 8 of the liturgy books called the Gatha on Opening the Sutra. While we're waiting for our teacher, you can just continue to follow your breath. Gatha on Opening the Sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. We have some new faces in the Zendo tonight. Are you all here for a class? More or less, yeah. Some for a class, some just curious. Okay, good. So, what is happening here? what are we doing? Well, we're basically just sitting here being human, realizing our true nature. And not only realizing it, but making it manifest in the world and bringing some sanity to a kind of crazy, chaotic world that we're in. And of course, that begins with finding our own sanity, right? In the midst of the drama of our minds. Where is the peace? Where is the clarity? Where is the strength in the capacity to deal with all the stuff coming at us with some grace and in a way that adds to the goodness of the world? So that's what we're doing here. Does that sound like a good project? I think it is. I personally have been working on the project since 1978. So do the math. And so we're going through this book, The Gateless Gate. It's a book of koans. And in the Zen Buddhist tradition, we rely on the teachings and the experience of the lineage to help us to realize our true nature. And koans are basically sayings of the Zen masters. If you were in the Roman Catholic tradition, you might have heard of sayings of the Desert Fathers, something like that. So mostly they're from people that lived a long time ago, but some are more contemporary. And then this, my dear friends, is our grimoire. And now normally a grimoire is a book of spells, right? But here, this grimoire is a book of the antidote to all of the benightedness and confusion that plagues us. Okay, so we're turning to antidote number 38. Okay. So, well, let's just read it first and then we'll talk about it. A buffalo passes through a window. The case. Goso said, for example, it's like a great buffalo passing through a latticed window. Her head, horns, and 4 legs have passed through. Why is it that her tail cannot pass through? Then Mumon's commentary. If in regard to this you are able to turn yourself upside down, attain one single eye, and utter a turning word, you will be able to repay the 4 obligations above and help the living beings of the 3 realms below. If you are still unable to do this, reflect again on the tail. Then you will be able to grasp it for the first time. The verse. If it passes through, it will fall into a ditch. If it turns back, it will be destroyed. This tiny little tail, what a strange and marvelous thing it is. So you can feel right away that we are in the realm of the mythic. We are in the realm of the hero with 1,000 faces. We are in the realm of the quest, where there is this cryptic kind of instruction about how to proceed. And the intrepid warrior has to go out and figure it out, right? If this doesn't interest you, if you don't think that's cool, then whatever, just sit here, it's fine. But let me just tell you, all of those Marvel movies and all of the superhero movies that are so popular, this is because we have such a deep yearning to go on this spiritual quest to find our true nature. And unlike going to the movies and watching it on the big screen and then going home and kind of talking about it and then forgetting about it, you're actually for yourself engaging in this journey. And there is, lo and behold, a path that has been around for 2,600 years. And there are guides along the path. And there are fellow intrepid warriors along the path. You're sitting amongst them right now. So I think mostly to the young people. Don't sell yourself short. There is an incredible adventure and an incredible journey that you are here to take to realize who you are. Right? Dr. Strange. Remember him going up to the Himalayas? Well, who knew? But you don't even have to go to the Himalayas. You just have to go down Richards Road and Emma Jean. Here you are. Right? It's really important to take this deepest heart's desire that we have. First of all, to recognize that we even have such a thing. And then to listen, to really listen. What is it at the deepest, most core level of my life that I want it to be about? And I'm not talking about your job. And I'm not talking about your relationships. And I'm not talking about how much money you've got. I'm talking about a life that moment to moment to moment, breath by breath by breath, you know that you are on this great warrior quest. This brings so much life and meaning and purpose. And I promise you, if you say yes to the quest, you will never be bored. Because every moment is a moment of practice and a moment of a life well lived. So let's take a look at this cryptic case. So Goso was a Zen master, and it sounds to me like this particular little couplet here was part of a much larger talk that he was giving. So he was giving an example of what it's like to live the enlightened life, okay? So he says, for example, it's just like a great buffalo passing through a latticed window. Her head, horns, and 4 legs have passed through. Why is it that her tail can't pass through? Now, when you have a visual of what that would be, you're like, what the heck? This big, huge buffalo managed to squeeze itself through a latticed window. Why can't the tail go through? I mean, it's the smallest, tiniest little thing. This doesn't make any sense. So that's the first thing you notice is that, wow, I have to actually get comfortable with this makes no sense, right? So how many times in your life have you sat and gone, wow, this situation makes no sense. I don't understand what the heck is happening here. Like, how many times of the day do you do that? A lot. So this takes a little bit of sort of filling out, right? Because there's a little bit of some coding going on. You know, especially in religious literature and painting and stuff like that, it's always coded and there's always sort of more hidden meanings in it. And you kind of have to have like a map or a legend to be able to really get inside of it. So that's the second thing you need is you need a legend, or in this case, you need a guide, right? So this great buffalo, right, with these huge horns, what is that, right? Well, in Zen practice, the buffalo is our true nature, is our essential nature, is our Buddha nature. And when you go outside, you'll see there's a whole sort of series of pictures of the spiritual journey. And it has a great big buffalo in it, right? And there's this relationship between the buffalo and the human trying to like wrangle the buffalo. So this is the same buffalo that's in those ox herding pictures. So it's like a great big buffalo passing through a latticed window. So this is what would be considered a post-Kensho koan. So what does post-Kensho mean, right? It means that this particular buffalo has worked really hard to clarify and to purify their life, to be able to pass through this barrier that seems completely impossible, right? Tiny little window, big fat buffalo, big horns, right? But somehow, through the efforts that it's made, it's like pushed its body all the way through. No easy task, right? This is the hours and weeks and months on the cushion, practicing noticing the thought, seeing the thought, acknowledging the thought, and letting the thought go, letting it be. So inside of that letting it be, something else is so evident. And this something else that's so evident, you can't put a name on it. You can't even really say how it feels. But there's something there, and it's totally trustworthy, and it's totally reliable. And this, we say, this Buddha nature that is there is not born and does not die, okay? But in order to get to know it, we have to let go of the drama in our minds so that we can encounter the Dharma, the truth, the teachings, directly. And in Zen, it's very, like the most critical part of Zen is that you have your own personal, direct realization and experience of this. And the crazy thing is, because nobody can get in your head and do it for you, you have to do everything on your own. I mean, you have some friends, and you have some teachings, and you have the teacher, but still, you got to do it all on your own. So you got to have a lot of gumption, right? And you got to have a lot of courage, right? You got to have a lot of discipline, too, to stick it out. And at the same time, you have to have a lot of enthusiasm, right? We call some of those characteristics the paramitas. So, in this particular case, there was a direct experience of their true nature, right? Her head, horns, and 4 legs have passed through. So, you think, oh, wow, I'll have this enlightenment experience and I'll just break free of everything and just gallop out the window and just gallop through the cosmos and everything is going to be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I will be so free, right? You are free, but not in the way you think you're going to be free. This is far more delicious, far more reliable, far more interesting, and far more alive than just having you decide, yeah, it's going to be great, and it'll be great and great and great and great. It doesn't work like that. And thank God it doesn't work like that. Imagine if you have this incredible experience, which is quite blissful, quite wonderful, and then you just sort of like check out. And you don't use any of that really medicine, right? You found this incredible healing balm, and you don't come back into the world and help all of the other people that are struggling. That's kind of being a jerk. That's being like a Dharma jerk. You don't want to do that. You really don't. So, fortunately for us, the tail can't pass through, right? So there's no way we can just have that Kensho experience and just keep galloping on from one bliss cloud to the next, because the tail won't get through. It's stuck. You're stuck. You're stuck sitting on that tail. Did you know you were sitting on your tail? Why is it that no matter what the most incredible, blissful experience, enlightenment experience you've had, that your tail could not get through? This koan is considered to be like one of the hardest koans in the book, because it seems so contradictory. This little tiny irritating little tail that's, what's wrong with you? Come on, push it through. Actually, Dogen says, yeah, you got to just pull on that tail a lot, pull on it, get it through. I don't know. So this tale is basically the first noble truth, that life is suffering, right? Now, normally we say, and there's an end to suffering, and there's a path to suffering, and that's what we're doing here. Why would one stay in suffering? It's so hard to talk about it because we can't escape the tale of being in a body that's going to die. You just can't escape that suffering. Nobody does. You can't escape the suffering of being sick. You can't escape the suffering of being separated from the things that you want and the people that you love. This is the nature of being alive. This is the nature of conditioned existence. But you can actually experience all those things: old age, illness, death, being separated from what we want, not getting what we want, as not separate from our essential nature. Now, this is really interesting. How is it that all of that is not separate from our essential nature, not separate from our Buddha nature? When we realize how that's true, now we have completely transformed all of the things that cause us so much anguish into Dharma practice, into the practice of no birth, no death. So it's kind of a tall order. It's a big deal. But it can be done, and it's being done right here in this room, and it's been done by countless men and women throughout the years. It's not impossible. Read Mumon's commentary. In regard to this, you were able to, if in regard to this you were able to turn yourself upside down. So turn yourself upside down is stop being completely like at the mercy of your drama mind, right? Turn it upside down. Do something, be completely different. Experience your life in a completely, radically different way. Attain the one single eye. So this is the one body of the Buddha, the profound non-separation, right? Transcending duality, subject and object. And utter a turning word. You will be able to repay the 4 obligations above. So the 4 obligations are parents, nation, the 3 treasures, and all sentient beings. And help living beings of the 3 realms below. So the 3 realms are basically what we mostly live in. The realm of desire, right? I want, do I want? I notice the internet is really like, it'll kind of show you whatever you want. Have you ever noticed that? It's very addictive. So that realm. The realm of form, being addicted to just the material aspect of life, and the realm of the formless, so being caught in emptiness, reifying emptiness, which is kind of a big term. We don't have time to go into it right now. If you're still unable to do this, reflect again on the tail, and then you will be able to grasp it for the first time. So this koan is about really sitting with, why is it that the tail can't pass through? The verse, if it passes through, it will fall into a ditch. If it turns back, it will be destroyed. This tiny little tail, what a strange and marvelous thing it is. What a strange and marvelous thing we are. And what is that strange and marvelous thing that we are? That's the question.
We will now recite the Bodhisattva vows, which are also found on page 8 of your liturgy book. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our service for this evening. Thank you so much for practicing with us. I dare say that Kensei's going to have some announcements.
Do have announcements. My name is Kensei. I wanted to tell you about a couple things. One is that Sangha Circles registration is open until Sunday. And if you haven't had a chance yet and you're a temple member to sign up for a Sangha Circle, please do so. They're a wonderful way to engage in Ango and get to know your Sangha friends better. Ango is a time where we intensify our practice, and that starts on Sunday, March 10th. We'll have our Ango opening ceremony and our Ango hike in the woods and our Abasi tea. It'll be a lovely Sunday, and it is the end of session. So actually that closes tomorrow night. So if you haven't registered for session yet and you want to attend and you've already been through the process and attended a day, find that registration sheet and sign up. And maybe Shokai has announcements. The book for Ango is the Lankavatara Sutra. Shokai sent out an email with all this information. And I think it came out yesterday, maybe, or today. But you can get this book for just $5 on Amazon, or there's a PDF in that email. And we're going to be actually working through the entire text this Ango. We do really believe this is true. We have a syllabus and a working plan to get through the entire text. You might have to do some of it on your own, but it can be done. What else? All right. Please restore this window.